to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to This Week in Marketing, brought to you by the San Diego chapter of the American Marketing Association.
Welcome. This is your host, Bill Wynn. Thanks for joining me on this hour of This Week in Marketing. Today, we're going to be talking about podcasting tips and trends. And I thought this was an important topic for marketers to think about because there are, so many different ways to reach your customers and to reach an audience these days. Video is thought of as all the rage. There's obviously a ton of written content out there, traditional print media and so forth. So I wanted to focus on podcasting, right? We do a podcast here with AMA San Diego. Lots of other folks are getting in on the act. And so we thought we'd spend some time talking about, why we do this show, how podcasting fits in or how audio fits in with other media today, and all the kind of the trends around that. So joining me today is Wade Taylor, who is actually the owner operator of WS Radio, where we do our show. So Wade, thanks for joining me.
Always happy to be here. It's interesting though when the tables are turned, and instead of me leading an interview, I'm being asked questions. So this is always an interesting experience, and it's great getting an opportunity to talk with you because you and the world of marketing understand this game, but there's perhaps nuances that we're going to be able to help with.
Yeah, and so people who listen to this show might recognize Wade's voice. He actually did a show that is up on the AMA San Diego website. It was a show about SEO, so you may have heard Wade's voice before. So Wade, give us a little background on WS Radio. How did this operation get started, and a little bit more about your background? Sure.
Well, gosh, there's a long story there, so I'm going to nutshell my background into this. I got a degree in broadcast management, wanted to write advertising. I thought that was cool. I got 30 seconds to tell a story. So I came out of that, but got into early video production. This was really pre-computers because I had to find out what the technology could do. So I did video for about a decade, selling equipment, shooting video, doing more corporate type video stuff. And then the first computer stuff came out for video. And so I kind of got pulled into that and did about 6 years of computer-based video, followed by 6 to 8 years of just being in the computer business because we'd had to learn how far to push computers to make them do video, that I'd learned everything kind of about computers. But then computers became a commodity, and I needed to change things up. I really had been too long out of video to easily get into that. Didn't want to be the IT guy. Found an internet radio station that fit me perfectly because they needed somebody that knew about computers and about video and how the technology had merged. And so my job became director of operations, which was pretty much taking the audio content they were recording and making sure it got on the web and got distributed. So to jump to the WS Radio story, WS Radio founded in 2001, actually started very close to 9/11, okay, and was run by a partnership, an SEO guy that recognized how content was going to drive SEO, teamed with a lady that had owned radio stations and had been nationally syndicated, and they decided to put a radio network on the internet, focused on quality and mainly business talk. Well, they did that for 8 years, and we discovered nobody wants a radio station on the internet. They like audio content, but now that there's no longer the gatekeeper of the person that owns that tower, that business model has been broken. We're going to jump between networks to just those pieces of content we want. But things were going good. We were up to 100 and some shows, launched Hay House Radio, had partnerships with Entrepreneur Magazine, just a whole range of things, have continued our partnership with the Union Tribune. But then the economic crisis hit. And everybody I'm talking to knows what it's like to go, advertising budget? What advertising budget?
Sure.
The account's empty. So they brought in a corporate partner. And things kind of got mixed up there for a while. They ended up exiting the company, the original partners. The corporate entity had regional magazines that was looking for a national platform to leverage to get a broader footprint. They made me the GM because I pretty much knew how the station ran. But after 3 years, their magazines had gone out of business. Their plan had shifted. And so in 2013, I took over the company and changed the focus to be about content marketing, hyper-targeted, simply in the form of traditional radio.
Okay, awesome. All right, so let's take a break there. And when we come back, we'll kind of catch up with where WS Radio is today.
A podcast or radio show on WS Radio is a great way to create content marketing. Turn prospects into customers into raving fans. Contact Wade at WSRadio.com or call 866-WS-RADIO.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on VinVillage Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. VinVillage connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. VinVillage is where wine lovers connect.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children.
After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to This Week in Marketing, brought to you by the San Diego chapter of the American Marketing Association.
So welcome back. This is your host, Bill Wynn. Today we're talking about podcasting tips and trends. So Wade, when we left off, we had kind of gotten WS Radio up to the present day. So what does your kind of show lineup looks like today?
Well, it's a mix of shows. We've got business shows. We've got lifestyle shows. Right now in our other studio, we're running the Progressive Medical Hour of Power that's out of Atlanta, Georgia. It's an integrative hospital. But typically we don't do a lot of, let's call them personal podcasts. Because to do it professionally, this costs money. And to fund that, it really requires a business model supporting the idea that's going to be able to reap the brand marketing benefits of, the brand marketing benefits that this show is going to create, right? So there's lots of ways that people could do a podcast. I can plug a microphone into my computer. If I'm just doing it to talk about my hobby or whatever, great, that's a great avenue. Our shows tend to, again, be professional, where they're a brand-building tool to give a business entity a point of engagement. You know, our audience all understands the whole content marketing game, right? Gets us Google juice and also gives us a point of engagement for that visitor. And so those businesses that really want the highest quality representation of that would, for instance, come to a place like me where we've got fundamentally a real radio station here. We're just sending it out to a streaming service rather than a broadcast tower.
Okay. And so describe for me then, if you can, how a podcast, how audio should fit into a business's content marketing strategy today, right? We've talked about video kind of being all the current rage. There's always going to be a certain amount of printed content, whether it's electronic or hard copy, right? And so, I think some people think of audio as sandwiched in the middle, right? But explain to us how you feel that audio fits into a content marketing strategy.
Okay, well, let me first pose this question. Go turn on YouTube, launch the most fascinating lecture that you've ever run across, and mute the audio and tell me how compelling that message is.
Yeah, probably not very.
Audio is what makes video work. So video is great. Like I said earlier on, I started out in video. I've written for local magazines. I'm media agnostic, right? What's the right tool? But audio is underappreciated because it's giving you, in many cases, just to pull a number, 80% of the benefit of video at a tenth the cost, right? Because we don't have to worry about lights, camera, makeup, any of that. And so something I'd like to expand on if we have time, maybe in an upcoming segment, is it's about storytelling, right? We need to forget media. We need to forget technology and just remember this is about storytelling, because storytelling is how we build relationships. And as a good friend of mine says, marketing is the story that makes sales easy, right? So fundamentally, it's storytelling regardless of the tool. And audio is great for storytelling because if we recognize we need to use all three media, now let's look at how they shine. What print does better than anything is conveys data. It's the one that moves at the speed of comprehension. What video does best is show and tell. We can see the demonstration. Well, what audio does best is builds an emotional connection because it's theater of the mind. If you're watching a YouTube video, your point of consciousness is that screen. When you're listening to our podcast, we're in your brain. And it's just a deeper connection. And as soon as I add a visual to that, I no longer have theater of the mind. I've broken that thing that pure audio gives me. I like to say I've got the largest special effects budget that exists. Your brain, right? So just audio has that power. Let me throw in one other quick thing. You can go to somebody's website, see their picture, read their bio, but until you hear their voice, you don't feel like you know them. And so just audio is a powerful tool. It's cool to add video to that audio, but in and of itself, audio is a powerful tool. And then the other thing to mention is in terms of production, I can connect two people anywhere in the world easily because all I need is some version of a phone line. We've conducted interviews with people on the side of Mount Kilimanjaro. We've conducted interviews with the astronauts on the space station. We've conducted interviews with people on a blimp off the coast of California. And just the complexity of adding video might have prohibited many of those things. So again, just the power of audio and moving people, realizing it is the most powerful emotional tool, and then the ease of production, and then the final thing is consumption patterns. We can't stand and stare at video very long. So video is typically 2-3 minutes as an average. Audio gets 18 because audio's going on the treadmill next to me. Audio's at the sink as I'm doing dishes. Audio's as I'm at the mall this holiday season waiting for my significant other to finish whatever the heck it is they're doing, right? It's a multitasking tool. So those are many of the reasons that you should be doing video, you should be doing print, but you should be doing audio, and audio can actually be the leveraging tool that it actually empowers the other two media.
Yeah, I love all that, Wade. Great ways to think about it. Thank you. I want to talk more about storytelling, right? And I want you to help our listeners understand, if you're going to incorporate audio into your content marketing plan, how do you come up with new ideas for shows, right? How do you continue to develop engaging content for your audience?
Well, again, this is one of those big brain shifts that we have to do. I'm not making entertainment. I want it to be entertaining, but I'm not making a sitcom. I'm not making a feature film. I'm making marketing, right? I'm making compelling marketing messages. So the content is driven by the needs of the business. Over the 15 years now at this point, we've been doing this, we figured out a few things. Now, a lot of what we had to do is unlearn, because everything you know about media is upside down and backwards when it comes to the internet. The simplest nutshell of that is internet's narrowcasting, traditional media is broadcasting, right? But, and I apologize as I kind of lose my train of thought as I made that diversion. And so so what we've learned is kind of how the process works, and I've developed a few structures to assist me with that, right? And so one of them I call the grid, and it simply takes you down a path of logic. Here's my solution. It doesn't do everything, but this is my solution. It solves a certain set of problems, not every problem in the world. Let me identify what those are. Those problems are only held by certain groups of people. So let me understand who has the problem that my solution solves. And then I can simply go through a process of, if this person has this problem, what do they need to know? And I just create content because they need to know a lot of stuff typically. So each episode of a podcast in my world is answering a problem that audience has in a fun and entertaining manner. And then over time, my podcast is a tremendous resource directory targeted at my specific industry because that's what I know. So I don't have to worry about coming up with new content ideas as long as my customers never run out of problems they're having.
And what are the chances of that?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I want to give folks some stats here about podcasts that I found. An outfit called Edison Research posted this in the spring of this year. Podcasting continues to be a growth medium as 40% of Americans 12 years and older say they've listened to a podcast. 24% say they've listened to one in the past month, which is up 21% from a year ago, and also 6 in 10 Americans are now familiar with the term podcasting, a number that has risen 22% in 2 years. So clearly, the statistics, the evidence would support the idea that audio is by no means losing popularity. If anything, it's increasing. Probably. And that's a lot attributable to some of the the advantages of it that you mentioned earlier, right?
Oh, most definitely. And the biggest advantage is platform. Mobile is where the world's going. And your smartphone screen isn't all that great for print, right? I really don't want to sit there and read a whole lot on my smartphone screen. Video, it's okay, but again, I can only stand there for so long watching video, where it's perfect for audio. I call the smartphone the transistor radio of the 21st century. And so again, if we recognize the power of audio as a bonding tool and the ease of consuming audio on a smartphone as they multitask, that's why I encourage a comprehensive media strategy, but audio can really be the centerpiece. And then things can flow from that. But again, and I don't mean to jump around. I'd like to get into some of these things in a future episode. Again, it's comprehensive. Print is cheap and easy. All it takes is my keyboard that I have anyway. So I should be knocking out perhaps a blog a day, but that doesn't have to be fancy. That's like throwing together a sandwich for lunch. hey, here's a few thoughts that I had today that are contextually important to my website. Audio can be Sunday dinner. It's a little more special. It's got the excitement of electronic media, so invite somebody on. Again, the beautiful thing about what we do is I can connect people across the world so we can listen in on a meeting of the minds, and that's extremely powerful. And then video is for grabbing their attention. Hey, there's something I was explaining that's kind of complicated. Let me demonstrate it.
Yep.
So that's more, but since video is often an extravaganza, that's like Christmas. You know, I spend a chunk of money and do a good video that's going to last me for a few years.
Okay, we'll be right back with more This Week in Marketing with AMA San Diego.
Securing Our eCity Foundation is a nonprofit organization focused on cybersecurity awareness and education. Formed in 2011, their mission is to enable every San Diegan to live, work, and play safely in the cyber world. For more information, visit securingourecity.org or call 619-630-2444. securingourecity.org, 619-630-2444. securingourecity.org.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile puts your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. Appify your business and amplify your presence with your customers at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
Kinja Dixon was crowned the #1 sales executive through hard work, deep thinking, and the revelation of universal talk laws. He now wants to share these lessons with you. Universal talk laws are what you need to know and use in business and at home to have successful and effective conversations. Kinja Dixon shares his wisdom, action plans, and wealth. Each book comes with a chance to win $10,000. Find Universal Talk Laws at KinjaDixon.com.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to This Week in Marketing, brought to you by the San Diego chapter of the American Marketing Association.
Welcome back. This is your host, Bill Wynn. Today we're talking about podcasting tips and trends with Wade Taylor, the owner-operator of WS Radio. And I love talking to Wade, number one, because he's got a better radio voice than I do, but number two, he's super knowledgeable and enthusiastic about this topic. So it's a piece of cake show to do. He's kind of like a wind-up toy. I just wind him up and let him go. I got it easy this morning, right, Wade?
Thank goodness I have a radio station.
So before we continue on with our discussion, I want to announce a promotion we're going to be doing here at AMA San Diego. We are giving you an excuse, a reason to take a break from your annoying family over the holidays by enjoying some AMA San Diego podcasts. Here's how it works. You listen to shows dating back to January of 2016 on our website, sdama.org/podcast. You enter relevant comments on the pages for those shows. After the holidays, we will tabulate the number of comments contributed by each listener, and each comment will be allocated an entry in a drawing. The winner of the drawing can choose between a free all-access pass to the 2018 Art of Marketing Conference coming up in March of 2018, or you can choose between that and hosting a show here on WS Radio. Wade will train you on how to host a show, help you develop the show idea. You'll host a show, and then afterwards you'll own a fantastic piece of content related to your business. The second place winner of our drawing will receive the prize that the first place winner does not select. So that is the contest we're going to be running over the holidays. Again, starting on January 1, we'll tabulate the number of comments contributed by our listeners. Listen in at sdama.org/podcast to any show posted before January of 2016. So, Wade, let's and by the way, Wade, thank you for your contribution to that contest. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, that's one of our packages here, you might say. Different people have different needs. That's $1,500. I take you through a process where you get to feel what it would be like to podcast to do a podcast, and then see if you want to proceed from there. But there's just all these little nuances, as you've learned, to driving a microphone and making a show compelling that, people aren't born with that knowledge. But now it's a requirement. If I can kind of throw in this comment, businesses know how to do things, but they forget how to communicate their story. And where I'm often stepping in and helping business owners and, company heads is when they started out the business, they had a vision for it, right? Their burning desire. This is how I'm going to make my mark on the universe. And then they get busy building widgets and get stuck in process and kind of forget why they're doing this. But now with the social media, with the internet, with what we're going to talk about, the importance of being a storyteller, I help remind them, go back and let's take a look at your vision, and then here's how we tell that vision to the different constituencies we need to, reach out to. So it's kind of something they know, but I help bring it out of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. And I think a lot of us as marketers are constantly reminded of the fact that our customers, our clients in marketing, even if we're in-house at a brand, sometimes we forget how to tell our own story, right? We're so busy working in the business, we forget to work on the business, right? And telling your story is part of working on the business.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. So let's elaborate on that then, Wade. What are some of the tricks to storytelling that marketers need to think about?
Well, one thing that I always try to do is return to fundamentals and basics, right? I believe it was Vince Lombardi, perhaps, that would go out on the field at the start of training season in front of this group of grown men that have been playing football for years, and he started with, "This is a football," right? Because we get caught up in the things, and we need to remember the fundamentals. So one of the first fundamentals that business needs to remember is communication has two parties, and you got to be focused on the receiver, right? Don't tell them your story, but in the context of what they need to know about your story, right? So as a business owner, whatever, we often start from the self because that's what we know. Let me tell you about my great business, how big it is, the fancy machines we've got. We've got the XJ111 that means we can produce 30,000 widgets twice a day. I don't care. But now if you tell me, because we've got cutting-edge equipment, our product will always be on the shelf. Our stores never run out of our product, so you're assured that when you walk into store X, our product's on the shelf. That I care about as a consumer. So again, it's remembering in communication, it's all about the receiver. Make sure they're getting your message clearly. And just to drive this point home, nobody cares about what you do. Nobody cares about what you make unless they've got the problem it solves. So just always remember the initial point of engagement is making them see that you recognize their problem, and now we can build a relationship from there.
Awesome. What other storytelling tips do you typically give to brands? Right? What challenges do you find they have that you can help them solve?
They often try to fire hose things, right? We've got too much going on in our lives and in our worlds to remember everything. And usually if I'm coming in to learn something, it's because there's a point of unfamiliarity. So if you just start out telling me stuff, presuming I have background intelligence that, well, you have it, why don't I? Well, that's why I'm here, right? And so keep it simple, right? If I'm going to do a podcast episode or write a blog or shoot a little YouTube video, 1 to maybe 3 points is all I should cover in each thing. Because if you go beyond that, they forgot the first thing you said because now you've moved on to 4, 5, 6. And then the other thing is you got to tell them repeatedly. Because, again, they don't know this, right? So the first time you tell it, that just put it on their radar. But they still don't understand what you're talking about. So you explain it again, and you explain it again, and you explain it again. What is it that I believe Toastmasters says? Walk out on stage, tell them what you're going to tell them that, and then afterwards tell them what you told them. And it's just about that reinforcing. So again, don't fire hose. Keep it to 1 or 2 concepts, but give them multiple explanations of that.
Yeah, and one thing that we see, a mistake we see marketers make in terms of content marketing is that the message is all about the company or the solution, right, or the individual behind them, rather than content that is of true interest to the listener, right? Rather than helping the listener or the audience solve a problem, we're so focused on telling the listener something we want them to hear.
Exactly.
Right? So how do we not fall into that trap?
Well, you can't make anybody do anything. So we need to quit trying to make people buy our product and simply create a circumstance that makes them desire to buy our product. So as you've heard, I have a bunch of what people call Wadeisms, right? And so the way I explain this piece is if I make suntan lotion, I don't sell people suntan lotion. I remind them how cool it is down at the beach over and over and over, right? They'll go to the beach then, and at the beach they'll buy the suntan lotion, right? Another way of saying that, I'm a vitamin company. I don't do a podcast saying, let me tell you about our great production capacity and our new machines that we make the vitamins and the fact, and let me tell you a little bit about vitamin C and all the, whatever. Somebody might listen to that once. No, in this new world that we're dealing with, what I do is I create a show called Extreme Sports Excitement. And the show is, hey, meet Jane the surfer. Isn't surfing cool? Wow, Jane, tell us about how exciting surfing is. Man, surfing is something I'd like to do. There's my explicit message. My sales is never explicit. Implicit in that conversation with Jane is, wouldn't you like to surf? Well, are you healthy enough to surf? Wow, does this sound like something you're in shape and ready to do because you want to do it? And then catch a clue, people. This show is sponsored by Johnson Vitamin Company. So, gee, maybe if you're thinking I'd like to surf, but I don't know if I'm in shape, I could use some energy. Wow, let me click on this link for the vitamins, pick up some B vitamins, whatever. Sales can't be explicit because people are burnt on sales. Tell them a story that creates an environment conducive to your product being consumed, and then make it available.
Yeah, and like as we watch TV now, and we all have DVRs, right? We're fast forwarding through commercials that last 30 seconds, right? So you certainly don't want to record an hour-long podcast that is in essence an extended commercial, right?
Exactly. People skip commercials, so marketing has to be in the content, but people really don't like infomercials. So again, you have to tell them a story that creates the environment that will make your product be desirable.
Yep. Okay, we'll be right back for our final segment here on This Week in Marketing with AMA San Diego.
You take your smartphone almost everywhere you go. Now WSRadio.com can be there too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
You may have heard me brag about Progressive Medical Center and just how much they've helped me with my health. And Dr. Goli, one thing that you have helped so many people with is migraines.
Unfortunately, there are millions and millions of Americans who are suffering with migraines and headaches, and they're debilitating because it affects the quality of their life, and they cannot function properly. At Progressive, we get to the root cause because we understand that migraines could be caused by nutritional deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, believe it or not, delayed food sensitivities. And once we determine what the real reason is, we put a plan of action together with medication that we get them off slowly, and we put them on an all-natural approach, and the results are amazing.
Incredible. I mean, there's so many people that can say they don't live their lives with migraines anymore thanks to Progressive Medical Center.
And that's what's exciting and rewarding to us as physicians, because we help our patients take control of their health, and that's why they're living well.
Why don't you get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today? Don't live in pain. Don't have migraines anymore. Just go to their website, progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life. Live it well.
Did you know the majority of radio listeners are between the ages of 35 and 54, have a household income of more than $100,000, are classified as executives or professionals, and share the show they listen to? Become part of the Peggy Smedley Show to reach listeners looking for information on connected devices through cost-effective radio commercials or segment sponsorships. Contact us at 630-933-0844 for more information, or visit PeggySmedleyShow.com.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to This Week in Marketing, Brought to you by the San Diego chapter of the American Marketing Association.
Welcome back for our final segment. This is your host, Bill Wynn. We are talking today about podcasting tips and trends with Wade Taylor. He's the owner-operator of WS Radio, the platform on which this very show appears, as you just heard. So, Wade, in our last segment, we talked about repeating your message to your audience and to make sure they're absorbing it, right? How do we make sure we're not overdoing it on that front?
Well, you say it, with increasing degrees of complexity, right? First, just give them the most rudimentary concept so they get their brain around that. And then as you're continuing to talk about it, kind of repeat that only in a more detailed manner. But there's something else that you've got to be doing as you're repeating that story, is recognizing you've got sub-audiences, right? Our market isn't uniform. So I've got multiple people that might need to be using my product. So let me use as an example. Let's say I'm a medical equipment manufacturer. I've got 3 audiences: patients, doctors, and purchasing agents. And if I speak to the patient and doctor-ese, they don't understand what I'm saying. But if I speak to the doctors in patient-ese, I have no authority because the other doctors are going, why aren't you using the right words, right? And then the purchasing agent wants to hear businessese, right? So what I might do is, as I explain the benefit of my product, the first time I'll say it in real generic words for the typical end user about what it's going to be their need. Hey, this inside your house isn't going to make a lot of noise, right? And then I'll say it a little bit more in detail to the doctor. And by the way, the XG7 defibrillator that's going to do this has 99% uptime, right? So now they're hearing what they want to hear. And then I might mention, and oh, by the way, this is easy for your budget because we offer our own financing, and the purchasing agent's ears just perked up. But I'm always telling the story of the benefit of the product. But here, one of those simple things that we talked about, about storytelling is know what I'm trying to tell them, right? So many times we go into things kind of blind. You don't have to know every word you're going to say, but know what you're talking about. Know the purpose of that. The story arc. I want to, over this communication, move the person to be here. Well, I need to stop and think, well, where are they now and why aren't they where I want them to be? And what do I need to tell them to move them? So again, one of the basic things is be conscious about what you're saying. Be conscious about how your different subgroups want to hear that, and then repeatedly message to make sure that everybody's kind of getting the base covered. You can no longer do one message and expect it to cover everybody. You might break up the messages within a podcast, or you might do multiple episodes. This one I'm just talking to patients. This one I'm going to talk to doctors, and I'm not going to worry about the patients not understanding what we're talking about, right? So target your message. We're building relationships with communities. Communities have vernaculars. If you don't speak to them in their vernacular, you don't bond. And now let me use this as the transition to, now I've created this content. Now I've got it targeted to my communities. What do I do with it? This is where Facebook comes in, right? This is where your web page comes in. This is where different blogs come in. But say we focus on Facebook. Now that I know the community that I just targeted that message to, I can easily go to Facebook and go, okay, where are these communities? And I'm not going to go beat them up and try to sell them something. I'm going to make myself available as a resource. Hey, all you parents of diabetic children, we just did an interview about early onset diabetes, if this would be helpful for you. SOFT, that's the name of the game these days. Building relationships with communities is the name of the game these days. And speaking to them in their own language is critical to work that game.
Yeah, so for all the digital marketers out there, you just covered without saying it, right? You talked about segmentation / personas, and you also talked about the funnel, right? Moving people from a certain point in, at the beginning of the cycle closer to a conversion point in the cycle, right?
Yeah, and that's what I love about listening to your show. I'm simply doing this, right? Like I said, we've been doing this for 15 years. I'm watching patterns and adjusting accordingly. And then you guys come in and tell me, oh, this is what we call that. It's like, oh, cool, okay. But yeah, I'm simply doing what's needed. Form follows function.
Right. So tell me, if you can, Wade, of a brand or a show here on a WS Radio where you think that somebody's really doing this correctly, right? Who's doing a great job of and taking advantage of the format.
Right. Well, let me encourage people to look up Peggy Smedley, Smedley. You can find on our website the Peggy Smedley Show. Peggy is the publisher of a set of magazines that are, we're primarily targeted to construction industry and industrial manufacturing. But as machine control became more prevalent, she got more into that. And then nowadays, machine control in many ways is the world of industrial IoT. My refrigerator's talking to this, or in an industrial situation, my conveyor belt is talking to the loader, right? And so she's evolved with the times, but the basic fundamental, we still need to build stuff. We still need to make stuff. So she had has a set of magazines, Construct Tech magazine, I believe is the name of it. So there's data. She does these interviews, gets these people, gives you really hardcore data. Then she invites them on the radio show and interviews them, and now you get the human element. You get the feel for where that person's coming from. Some of the philosophy behind the data that they were sharing. And then she's now added a little bit of video, right? So again, comprehensive, but the video clips are short. The audio clips are an hour long, 4 15-minute segments. And then her magazine is her magazine. It's got persistence, right? It sits on the table for a long time. So I think she's doing a great job of encompassing all of them. And also, to just reiterate this, adapting her business to the needs of the market and not going, wait, we're not going to change because we've always done it this way. Right? Adapting is a necessity. The world's changing too fast.
Right. And so speaking of adapting, as I sit in the studio here, I actually see the ability to do video, right? So you actually do provide that capability here.
Yeah, I've got some clients that hire me to do that. If you go on YouTube and look up The Coaching Show, you can see the video that we shoot here. And so I'm covering all the bases, but I'm not a big fan of shooting audio. I'm a big fan of, if I'm going to do video, let's do video. But nowadays, we actually have two options. I can either go big. If I'm going to do video, storyboard it, have imagery. A picture of somebody's head isn't worth 1,000 words, right?
Especially mine.
And equally here. And so we have to shoot video properly. But nowadays with a smartphone, I say you can also go to the opposite extreme. Embrace the intimacy of amateur. Shoot that selfie video, but make no pretenses that it's anything other than a selfie video, and keep it to about 1.5 minutes to drive them someplace else. That's what I prefer to do rather than just videotaping somebody talking for an hour.
Awesome. Okay, Wade, let's wrap up there. Thanks for joining me today. I want to remind folks, please take advantage of our Take a Break from Your Annoying Family podcast promotion. Find more podcasts at sdama.org/podcast and take advantage of that contest. Thanks for joining us.
Securing Our eCity Foundation is a nonprofit organization focused on cybersecurity awareness and education. Formed in 2011, their mission is to enable every San Diegan to live, work, and play safely in the cyber world. For more information, visit securingourecity.org or call 619-630-2444. securingourecity.org, 619-630-2444. securingourecity.org.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile puts your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. Appify your business and amplify your presence with your customers at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
Looking to be a successful entrepreneur? The virtual assistant industry continues to be a top choice for those looking to start their own business. The problem can be how to become a virtual assistant. Many turn to the Bible of the VA industry, the book Virtual Assistant the Series, and it's the perfect guide for office managers, executive assistants, and other administrative professionals looking to make the transition from employee to successful business owner. Go to vatheseries.com to get your copy today.
Hi, Scale listener. This is David Finkel, co-host with Jeff Hoffman of Scale Your Business. I wanted to let you know that our newest book, Scale, was just released, and to encourage you to get your copy. The book will give you 7 proven principles to grow your business and get your life back. Scale will help you work less by getting your business to produce more. Get your copy online or at your local bookseller. For more information, visit us online at scaleyourbusinesstoolkit.com.